What's up, everybody? It's your girl Shantae, back with another episode of Chatting with Shantae. How in the world are y'all doing? Me, I am comfortable. As y'all can see, I'm in the bed, honey. Listen, I had recorded this review earlier after I got home, and I had, my cute clothes on and stuff, but it was a hot mess. I wasn't really rocking with it like that, and I don't like to come on here like all forced and perfect and stuff, but it was just a little bit too much going on, and I was full, and I was just whatever. So your girl is in the bed, I am comfortable, and I was like, you know what, this is a different little setup, but I still want to get this review out for y'all, right? So as you can see from the title, we're doing The Shy, Season 4, Episode 4, The Girl from Chicago. And can I just say that this episode was emotional. Now, it's about 11 o'clock or so right now, so my time. So the episode's been out for a few hours, okay? I actually watched the episode last night, Saturday night, because, thanks to Hulu. But I know everybody just caught up on it and they just played the rerun or whatever. So it's been out for a while, so if you haven't watched it, y'all know I give my disclaimer, okay? If you haven't watched it yet, go ahead and watch it, catch the rerun, whatever, and then come back, because your girl don't do spoiler free, all right? Now, I do have my handheld tripod here, so if the camera shakes a little, I'm so very sorry. I'm so sorry. I got my pillow underneath here. I'm trying to keep it as still as possible. I'm so sorry, but next week we're gonna be better, I promise. But we're gonna get through these things, okay? So hit like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I release a video, and period. So y'all know how I do it. I'm gonna take it storyline by storyline. I got my notes here, and we're gonna do what we gotta do. So I'm gonna start with Duda, Rose, and Tracy, only because they wasn't really in this episode too much. It wasn't heavily focused on them like how the previous episodes were and how the future episodes are about to be. So this was just a little setup to see what's about to happen the next episode, because we know next episode, and we trying to figure out who did it. So y'all know last week Tracy and Duda had a little rumpa-dump session, okay? And Rose was watching, little freak. So it's the next morning, and Tracy's waking up in Duda's bed. I'm just like, so was Rose in the guest room? Like, what's going on? Okay. So she gets dressed and goes downstairs, and Rose is there eating her breakfast like, oh, look at you. Okay, congratulations. You slept with the mayor of Chicago. What do you want your prize to be? So Tracy is like, girl, I just want to go home. And so the way they set it up for the preview for this episode, I was like, please don't have my girl being kidnapped, okay? Because Rose was like, I can't let you go home. So Tracy's like, girl, who's you talking to? And so Rose is like, I ain't trying to kidnap you, but apparently blue lives do matter, and there's a whole bunch of angry protesters, and there's a riot going on. They got the building surrounded. So unless you want your walk of shame to be amongst the crowd of angry protesters, I would suggest you get the chef to fix you a lovely plate, and you sit across from me. So Tracy sat on down, okay? So Duda was at Jake and Gemma's school, well, Jake's school, because, Jake was a guest on Gemma's show, and what he was talking about was some real facts, but it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, I suppose. So Duda's in the principal's office trying to negotiate a fair punishment, so that way Gemma and Jake can still stay in school, but they still receive a fair punishment or whatever. So basically the principal is like, I'm gonna get rid of your show until further notice, because Jake posed a threat and stuff like that, and they both basically tell them, F y'all, F this school, this is stupid, and they storm off. So then later on we see Duda sitting there and he's surrounded by all these shoes and gowns and stuff, and for a split second I thought he was talking to Rose, like, are you gonna come out? I don't know why I thought he was talking to Rose, because so Tracy comes out all decked out in his nice little gown or whatever, and they're getting ready for this gala that's going to be coming up in the next episode, that big event that we saw in the first episode, the montage that we saw, this event that everybody's at. This is what they're preparing for. So she's like, why are you doing all this? How come your wife can't present this award to you or whatever? And Duda's basically like, listen, the public knows my wife. She's supposed to say nice things about me, but if someone like you who's a community leader, it'll sound more convincing, So she's like, you're using me? And he's like, well, we're using each other. Now, Tracy says, you're very comfortable, okay? You're very comfortable. Y'all smooched up and hugged up and stuff. And even Rose had to tell you, look, girl, you have stepped into the lion's den. You are now into the politics of the world, okay? Ain't no turning back. Like, you brought this on yourself. So girl, please, we're going to see how it all plays out in these future episodes. Listen, This episode was so emotional, and we can expect the second half of this season to be that way. They built everything up and set the storylines and introduced everything that's going to be going on and set us up. So we got through the first half, and now we into the second half, and honey, it's about to take off. So that was that with Doodah, Rose, and Tracy. Again, they weren't really in this episode, but next episode, honey, Doodah. So we're gonna go back to Jake, Gemma, and Kev for a second. These grown children with these grown people problems. All right, so Kev is in a therapy session before school with Nina and Dre, because he's been lashing out and acting out, and they're just trying to figure out what is going on with him. Like, what's the root that's causing him to behave this way. So Nina's calling him an alcoholic. He's like, I'm not no alcoholic. And then here comes Dre talking about because her side of the family is full of alcoholics. I'm like, Dre, now ain't the time for this. Not at all. Now was not the time for this at all. Do you hear me? So Kevin is in his mindset of, listen, they're always breathing down my neck. They always assume I'm going to mess up. So I might as well mess up. If they already have this preconceived notion of how I'm going to be, I might as well do what I got to do. Just being a stubborn 15-year-old boy, but also who's been through a lot of things, but he's not taking his frustrations out in a healthy manner. So then the therapist asks Nina if she has something to say, and Nina gets emotional because she reveals to the therapist that she almost lost her daughter. She almost lost Keisha, last season with her being kidnapped and things like that. So she is in a mother's place, of course, where she fears for her children's lives when they're not in her sight, when she's at home or they're at school or whatever the case is. She is fearful that one day she might get that dreaded call that one of them is, hurt or missing or killed or anything like that. So I'm not a mother just yet, but I can really sympathize with where she's coming from, especially when you're raising Black children, especially when you're raising a young Black boy in this society, because we hear the stories of, what happens and stuff like that. So, and another thing is, now that a big situation such as sex trafficking and girls going missing has actually hit in her home, okay, she had to experience that firsthand with Keisha being missing. She already knows that, I'm not above this happening to me. I'm not above my son being a hashtag or my daughter. So she just wants to hold on to them, really tight. And same for Dre. She feels the exact same way. So the therapist is like, listen, I see where both y'all are coming from, but could y'all come to an understanding, a common ground? Kev, if they agree to give you some independence, could you give them a reason to trust you? Can you come in on time? Can you do your homework? Can you, behave well? And that way you can get your independence and your freedom. So he thinks about it for a second. He's like, yeah, I can do that. So the therapist is like, okay, right now we're going to have a clean slate, a fresh start. Y'all going to see each other eye to eye, and everything's going to be good. So after the principal told Gemma and Jake that her show is going to be off the air, they're like, "Fump this," okay? I was trying to say the F word, and then I said bump. Anyway, fump this. So they're at this little BAM meeting, okay? Gemma's pro-Black meeting, which they was the only Black people. Never mind. So they're in this the auditorium having this meeting, and they're like, listen, we're tired of this school. We need to take action. Okay, we need to have justice prevail and things like that. So they're all like, listen, we're gonna stage a walkout during third period. Okay, walk out of your class and we're gonna have a protest. All right. So everybody's here for it. Everybody's like rah rah rah, except for Kevin. For two reasons. One, he just said in the therapy session that he's not going to give his parents a reason not to trust him. They're on a clean slate, right? So he's not trying to go against his word to them. So how would it look if he tells Dre and Nina, yeah, y'all have my word, I can do this, y'all can trust me, and then mere hours later he's walking in a protest, walking out of class? You know what I'm saying? So it would look bad on his part on that. And also he knows that he and Jake's circumstances are not the same as the other children's, okay? These children, they have parents who can write a check real quick and get them back in school if something were to happen. They can get bailed out real quick. They don't have that same luxury. Now, granted, Jake does have a Doodah who, is paying for his tuition. He's coming in when things are going bad, like how he was just talking to the principal. Yeah, he has that, but Kevin doesn't really have that, so he needs to be on the straight and narrow as much as possible. So he and Gemma kind of get into it. She's like, what are you trying to say? And basically he calls her a spoiled little Black girl and walks off. And so I commend Kev on not partaking in the protest just because he's not trying to give his parents a reason not to trust them. So on the outside looking in, like as a viewer, we know what was going on in that therapy session, so we know why he's not trying to be all out wild with it. But to Gemma, this is just another pile of, he doesn't support me, he's not here for me, he's dismissing me, he's calling me a spoiled little black girl, he's tired of hearing me talk. This is just another layer of him being really passive aggressive towards her. So she doesn't see the other part of it. She just sees what's been going on this whole time. So that's where she connects with Jake, because Jake is all here for it. He's like, forget this school, I'm tired of you, I'm tired of them, I'm on your side. So they're passing out, or they're putting the flyers in everyone's lockers and stuff. So Kevin comes up and he wants to help. And the thing is, it's not that Kevin didn't want to help in general, it's just he doesn't want to be in the forefront. He doesn't want to be on the front lines of it. He's like, I'll help y'all pass out the flyers, I'll help y'all do this. I'm just not trying to have my face all plastered on the poster like, hey y'all. That's where his angle is. But again, because of the way he's been treating Gemma and stuff like that, she's not really seeing it that way. And I think Kevin wants to help for sure, because he saw the connection that Jake and Gemma had on her show, and he's seeing it actively now, how they're bonding and doing these things together, and he's not a part of it. So I think he's trying to win her back for a couple of reasons, and one, trying to win her back from Jake, in a lack of better words. So he's asking if he can help, and they're like, nope. So they're in class, and class is about to start, and right when the bell rings, boop, Jake and Gemma, they walk on out. And it was so funny because we realized that was the teacher that they were talking about in the very first episode, where Gemma says she thinks she's woke because she has a Black Lives Matter poster hanging up on her door. So it was so funny the way they shot that, so that way we can remember that part. But they walk out and Kev stays seated. Again, I do commend him for that, because but so you couldn't tell Gemma or Jake nothing. You understand me? They rounded the corner. They just knew they were going to be welcomed with a whole bunch of open arms. It was just Dakota and her little picket fence sign. I was like, babies, turn back around. This isn't what y'all thought it was. I'm sorry. So they get into a little argument, and the assistant principal or the secretary or whoever, she comes out asking why they not in class. And Gemma got a smart mouth. My good sis said, girl, I'm not sure who you're supposed to be, but we want to talk to the principal, okay? You can get out my face and get the principal. And they just cussing and stuff. Listen, all these children, okay, except for Papa and Maisha, them babies are good. But Jake, Gemma, and Kev, they don't care what kind of adult you are. You can be their parent, you can be their step parent, a teacher, a principal, the mayor of the city you live in. They will cuss you out. And I'm just like, okay. So once they see that this whole protest and walkout was a big fail, they come up with a different plan. Jake pulls the fire alarm and they ditch. All right. So Gemma's like, what are we supposed to do now? Go home? And Jake is like, no, you're supposed to stay out until it's time to go home. I'm like, you've done this before, haven't you? Y'all, I'm so very sorry if the camera's shaking. I'm trying to hold it as still as possible. But so they go get a fish sandwich or whatever, because Gemma's never had one. So we see them enjoying a little fish sandwich or whatever. And Jake notices that she has an eyelash on her cheek. So he grabs it and she's like, I gotta make a wish. So she blows it. And then, long story short, they end up kissing. Now, I knew in that little snippet we saw of them kissing in the stairwell when Kevin saw them, I knew that wasn't the first time that they kissed, because it looked all too familiar. It looked too comfortable, like they've been doing this for quite some time. So, yeah. And listen, we knew that this was going to play out this way, but just seeing it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is messed up. You understand? So they're kissing and flirting and stuff. Meanwhile, Kev's out of school and he's over at Smokey's talking to Papa. And Papa's basically like, listen, how many times you gonna keep denying your queen? You won't help her out. You won't help Jake. You won't help me. You should come on my show, profess your love to Gemma so you can get her back. So at first he's like, that's stupid, but then he agrees to get on the show. So Papa's trying to help him out on the show. He's doing like a little Instagram live stream or whatever, trying to coach him what to say. And he's like, don't say that. You're insulting her intelligence. No, don't do that. No, just smile and wave, And so, but the funniest part was the comments, like the live stream comments. Everybody was like, who the is this? That was gross. Sorry. But everybody's like, who is this? You ain't getting her back. You stupid. Okay, like you got to go back and watch the comments. That was so funny. So then Kev ends up buying some flowers because he wants to give them to Gemma, and the whole time he's texting her, calling her, and she's straight up ignoring him and things like that. So honey, it's just so sad. He ends up giving the flowers to Dre and Nina, talking about, I got them for y'all. Okay, if you say so, baby. So next we're gonna get into Tiff and Emmett. Speaking of crazy relationships, so we know last episode they decided to do this whole open marriage arrangement or whatever. Okay, so the episode actually opens up with Tiff living her best life with Dante. She's getting, her pleasures pleasured, okay, and she's just having a ball. Meanwhile, Emmett is at their house with another girl, and he's about to get his orals pleasured, but for some reason his head is not there. He's just out of it. He's spaced out, and even the girl had to snap him back to reality, like, boy, I'm down here doing what I gotta do. I need you to focus or whatever. So we're seeing the dynamic between them two. So Tiff and Keisha, they're at Smokey's talking. And my thing is, I understand Smokey's is like the hangout spot and stuff, but is that the only restaurant? Because every time it's something going on, they got to go eat. It's always at Smokey's. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of discount is Emmett giving to everybody, because that's the only place they go eat. Anyway, so Tiff and Keisha are talking. Keisha's talking about the situation she had earlier with these adoptive parents. We'll get into that a little bit later. And Tiff is talking about how she and Emma are just a hot mess, and Keisha's trying to say, y'all ain't that bad. I wouldn't trust my baby with y'all, but y'all ain't that bad. So Emma goes up to their table asking what they talking about, and Tiff takes him back to the back because she's confronting him about the girl that he had in their home, because apparently that was a girl she used to work with named Donna, who used to spread nasty rumors about her, and she can't stand her. So Emma's basically like, listen, first of all, we in an open marriage, okay? I can mess with whoever I want. Second of all, how am I supposed to know which girl you don't like? You don't like half of Chicago. You got too many rules, okay? And for someone who got all these rules, I need you to quit going back and forth to Dante, because what is it about him that has you going back for seconds and thirds? And Tip's whole thing is like, don't worry about that, okay? That's my man, okay? And I'm gonna stick beside him. So they just decide to talk about it later. So fast forward to later, they're in the car, and she's going through all her rules. I don't want no be in my house, in the car. It can't be nobody that really know me like that. They need to know that you are married, and I better not hear about none of your excursions, okay? You better keep that away from me. And I'm just like, for y'all to be in this open, free spirited marriage, y'all got a lot of rules going on, I promise you. So Emma's like, okay, whatever, I can deal with that, but under one condition. I need you and Dante quit playing house with him, because it's obvious there's something more going on. And you can tell that Tiff and Dante have something going on, like something deeper than just like a fling or whatever, because we saw how he was acting last season, how he was flirting with her and stuff like that, and we saw how she was looking, but she was trying to honor her relationship. Now all gloves are off. So, and Emmett sees that, and he doesn't really want to lose Tiff, and he doesn't want to do this whole thing in the first place, but he's most definitely not trying to lose his wife to the dude who's been trying to get at her since last year. Correct. So she's basically shutting that down, like, nope, I'm not. Nope. Again, that's mine, and I'm gonna stick beside him. We get this scene where she walks into Dante's place. He comes up behind her. They're all smooched up and hugged up, and I'm just like, y'all both are getting some real feelings attached to this. Okay, this is dangerous. Someone's gonna get hurt. Okay, it ain't gonna end well for nobody, and I wouldn't be surprised if because it seems like Tiffany, it seems like she already had a key, the way she just waltzed up in there and calling his name, unless he left the door unlocked. I don't know, but she just walked up in there, so I wouldn't be surprised if she had a key, or if he gives her a key, or even goes far as to saying, I want you to move in with me, and then I wouldn't be surprised if, because I don't really see Emmett messing around with too many girls. I mean, this isn't really the same Emmett that we got introduced to in seasons 1 and 2. This is someone who's trying to salvage his marriage and stuff. So, and even when he was trying to entertain a girl, he wasn't really all the way there. So you can tell what headspace he's in, right? So I don't really see him thotting and bopping the way he used to, okay? I really see him wanting to work things out with his marriage. But if Tiff and Dante keep getting closer and closer, I wouldn't be surprised, he may be the one to present a divorce. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him like, look, we got married way too quick. I know I messed up. I shouldn't have did what I did, and that what I did caused you to do what you're doing and things like that. But it's obvious there's something more with you and Dante, and I'm not trying to be the reason why you're not happy. I'm not trying to keep doing this whole dance and playing these games. So I think it would be better if we were to get a divorce. I could very well see that happening. Or she could even present the divorce to him. I don't know. But then we get this scene where they kind of come back together and connect a little bit, because he is coming back from Jada's house and he got the sad news about her having cancer. So he puts the baby upstairs to sleep and he comes back down. They share a blunt for a second, and she can sense that something's wrong off bat. She's like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, how do you always know when something's wrong with me? And she's like, because we here, okay, we are here. It's obvious that Emmett and Tiff, they have some sort of real solid connection. Not right now, okay, but they know each other. They grew up, in this relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can sense when the other is not feeling well or something's not right. So he just kind of breaks down crying. She sits in his lap and comforts him. So I wonder if Jada's sickness is going to be something that brings them closer together, or if she'll just feel bad for him but continue to do what she does. I don't know. But this whole thing is a hot mess, and it's not going to end well. Someone's going to get hurt, because it's beyond just physical. It's beyond just having sex with somebody else. Like, there are real feelings invested in this, and someone's going to get hurt, and I'm scared. So we're going to move on to Trick excuse me, y'all, I'm tired. Trig, Imani, and Nuck. So we know last episode, the girl that Nuck brought in to get her hair done at Imani's, as soon as Rashad and Nuck left, she broke down crying, basically telling Imani, I need help. So her friends are like, girl, you can't save them all. Trig is like, mind your business. So she's like, look, I gotta save this girl by any means necessary. Okay, come on, Jim, with the bam, people. Come on, by any means necessary. Bam. So Imani is helping the girl. So we see Nuck and Trinity. That's the girl's name, Trinity. They're walking down to the corner store. He gives her some money to get whatever it is that she needs, and he tells her to hurry up. So while she's in there grabbing some stuff, Imani pops up with a basket full of stuff already, so that way she won't be in there for too long. And he comes in acting a hot mess. So they're devising a plan to help the girl escape. She's like, listen, I can escape at 8:30. Meet me at 69th and something at 8:30. Okay, boom. So Imani's like, okay, bet, take this cell phone, call me if you need me. We're gonna work out everything we need to get done, right? So later that night, we see Imani in the good old getaway Jeep, and she's waiting and looking, and the girl never shows up. And I was like, oh, please let her just be running late. Like, at first I was like, Lord, Imani gonna drive off, and then we're gonna see the girl come up. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be one of them moments. But after that, Imani, she goes down to the community police center where Trig and Tracy at, and she brushes past Trig and she goes up to Tracy and she's like, what kind of organization is this? Y'all pick and choose who y'all want to save. It's girls in that house that are getting abused, mistreated, sexually abused, and y'all are doing nothing. And at first Tracy's like, girl, who are you? Oh, you Imani Triggs, girl? Okay. Anyway, listen, I know all about the deeds in that house, okay? I know what goes on. And just because you don't see it in the newspaper or the news doesn't mean we're not trying our best to get it, situated. So they have a seat, and Imani basically explains how she was supposed to meet Trinity last night, but she never showed up. So that's where Trig comes into play, talking about that's where you were all night. That's why you're here. You still worried about this? So Imani goes off, and she's like, listen, I tried to, let you help me or whatever, but if you don't handle this, I'm gonna handle it, and if I handle it, it's gonna be loud as okay. And she storms off. So I was like, I know that's right. Listen, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I love Imani. She put her foot down, but I am scared for my good sis. I am, because these people ain't nothing to play with. So that night we see Trig, he pays Nuck and his boys a visit, and Nuck is telling him, tell your B to mind her business, and Trig gets in his face and he's like, listen, I don't want no problems, I just want the girl, do what you gotta do. So then we see Trig come home, Imani's sitting there waiting, and she's expecting Trinity to be there with him, and so he comes in by himself, and she's just like, well, what were you good for? What's going on? So he pulls out the cell phone that Imani gave to her and was like, did you give this to her? And you can already see 2 and 2 coming together in Imani's head, but she doesn't want to, really realize it just yet. So she's like, yeah, but where was, and he tells her that Nuck had it. So Imani asks, well, where is she at? And then, Trig said they found her body somewhere, on the side of the road or something. I'm not really sure, but they found her body, so she is no longer here. Imani broke down. I broke down because even though we saw that girl for a combo of less than 10 minutes in both episodes combined, it was the passion, the drive that Imani had, because again, she's familiar with that environment, that lifestyle, okay, and she wanted to help her so bad. And the fact that she was this close, y'all, and that happened to her, I broke down. That was super sad. Oh Lord, I got my fan going, so if you hear my papers rustling, I'm trying to save them, Jesus. Okay, so we almost done, y'all. I'm not trying to make it too long, but listen, this was interesting. So this next storyline is now a storyline that's really fully developing as the episodes go on. So we got Dre, Nina, and Jada. So again, y'all know Dre and Jada are good girlfriends, okay? They're really good friends. And Jada is still keeping this secret from Emmett and everybody else, which is making Dre have to lie about her whereabouts with Nina. And Nina is growing suspicious, okay? And so Dre is trying to plead with Jada, like, can you please hurry up and tell Emmett what's going on so that way I can tell Nina, because it's causing some issues between us, all right? Even in the therapy session, Dre was like, listen, we got some issues going on. And Nina was like, girl, it ain't even about that. Don't even do that. So, Jada's like, listen, I don't think Emmett's ready to hear me tell him this news. He's not strong enough to be on his own 2 feet just yet. I mean, and Dre is like, I understand, but at the same time, look, she acting crazy, okay? She think I'm doing some stuff and I'm trying to keep your secret. I'm trying to be a good friend, but I ain't trying to lose my wife all because you thinking Emmett ain't about nothing, right? So, Keisha was in the hospital, and so Nina was there, and she's blowing up Dre's phone because she wants her to be there. She needs her to be there. It was a serious situation, right? And this is where I say Dre could have handled the situation a little bit better. I understand she's in between a rock and a hard place, but at the same time, she could have done things a little bit differently, a little bit better. Again, Nina's texting her back to back, calling her, blowing up her phone, and instead of Dre talking to her, having a healthy form of communication, she's denying the call. She turns her phone off and stuff like that. And I'm just like, Dre, I understand you're trying to avoid having this conversation because you don't want to give up Jada's secret, or you're trying to avoid all this conflict. But by you avoiding it the way that you're doing, it's causing major damage in your relationship, when all you have to do is just have some form of open communication. You being really secretive and you making yourself look real suspicious when you're not even doing anything wrong, but the way you're acting right now, it's kind of making you look bad. And girl, okay? So after everybody gets home and stuff, Nina's going off. She's like, I was calling you. This girl almost died. And I was like, Nina, you're a bit dramatic, but okay. I didn't really like that because even though it was, it was serious, but it got calmed down. The thing with Keisha, it got calmed down fairly quickly, and everything was A-okay. She was trying to guilt trip Dre real quick. She was trying to lay it on real thick. And even Keisha was like, girl, sit down somewhere. You're doing a lot, all right? If something's going to stress me out, it's going to be you with all this lying, okay? So Dre is like, what in the world are you talking about? So Nina's like, listen, what's going on with you? You got your phone off. You ain't returning no phone calls. You ain't texting. What is up with you? Because you've been acting weird, for a minute. What's going on? And if you think you cooking this meal is going to fix something, you got another thing coming. So, Dre pours her a glass of wine because she's just stressed, all right? So later on, we see Nina and Dre. They're sleeping, and Dre's phone starts lighting up, buzzing, because she's getting a text message. And this is when I had to look at Jada like, girl. Girl. Okay, girl. So, and before this, we saw, when Emmett was over at, did I say this already? I don't remember. Sorry. Emmett did come over to Jada's house with the grandbaby, which and we haven't seen him in forever. But anyway, so Emmett comes by and he's all mad that Swade's opening the door. He's going off, and I'm just like, Emmett, please hush. So we see Jada. She's in the bathroom. She's on the floor. You know, she's sick and everything. And that's when she finally tells Emmett what's going on. And you can just literally see his heart breaking. I was so distraught. I was so stressed out. So, yeah. So fast forward back to Dre and Nina sleeping, and she wakes up because Dre's phone is going off. So she's like, I'm gonna go see what's going on. So she walks over to Dre's side and picks up the phone, and Jada texted Dre, "Thank you for keeping our secret." And this is when I have to look at Jada like, girl, really? I promise you did not have to thank me. Now, I'm not sure what time it was, but obviously it was nighttime, and obviously it was late enough for them to both be knocked out. I'm not sure if it was like a 10:30, 11 p.m., or if it was like a 2, 3 a.m. type of sleeping session. But honey, Jada, I promise, first of all the texts, thank you for keeping our secret, girl. First of all, this is your secret, okay? First of all. Second of all, you could have called me in the morning. You could have called me at the later part of the afternoon. You did not have to text me talking about something. Thank you for keeping our secret, girl. This ain't got nothing to do with me at all. You already know Nina is suspicious. You already know she a light sleeper, and you already know she think I'm finna crawl out this bed and sneak out at any given second. So you know she's on high alert. Why would you text me this, baby? I had to look at Jay like, girl, why are you still up? Go to sleep. You just had this very vulnerable and emotional moment. You should be wanting to get your rest. Why is you up texting me, honey? So what's the woman named Nina? She's reading the messages, and she's like, I knew it. Now this goes back to my theory in my last episode, my last video, and because you know we're going to be getting introduced to La Portia, which is the Bratz character, and so we might see them hook up or something, and I'm just hoping that it doesn't come to that, because I can really see it playing out just like this. Now that Nina has read the text messages, she has put in her head that Dre and Jada are messing around, which, does Jada even like women? Think about it, Nina, think about it. But so she has it already planned out in her mind that they're messing around. So now that Jada has told Emmett, Jada's going to tell Dre, go ahead and tell Nina. So Dre is going to be trying to tell Nina why she was acting all suspicious. But because it looks like Dre and Jada are having an affair, Nina ain't trying to talk. Nina ain't trying to hear nothing nobody got to say. So every time Dre tries to talk to her, she pushes her off. She's like, whatever, I don't want to hear it. And then she meets La Portia or whatever, and you can see how that could play out. I'm just hoping Dre gets a chance to tell Nina what was going on before Nina does something she could regret, because let's say she keeps blowing off Dre and she meets La Portia and something goes down. Well, Nina, you're the cheater. You know what I'm saying? You're the one who's trying to get revenge when there was nothing to get revenge on. But I do agree, or, you know, I stand on what I said. Dre could have she could have had a better form of communication with her wife. You can still keep Jada's secret without completely shutting Nina out and having her left in the dark and letting her figure out her own conclusions, because, you know, now you finna wake up with a black eye because she finna go in on you. You know what I'm saying? While you sleep with your shirt off. So we're going to see how that plays out, right? So lastly, we got Keisha and Octavia. Of course, like I said, that wasn't the last time we was going to see my good sis Octavia. My good sis looked good this episode. Did y'all see that leather dress? Honey, that leather dress needed its own rolling credit, okay? Tabitha Brown, Octavia's vegan leather dress. Honey, it was bad AF. So we know Octavia was part of the married couple that wanted to adopt Keisha's baby in the first episode, and things looked good until it wasn't, and it was a hot mess. So Octavia came and revealed to Keisha that she and her husband were getting a divorce, and Keisha was like, I'm so sorry, thank you for being honest, thank you for the popcorn, but it ain't gonna work. I'll see you when I see you. So you would think that would be the last time we saw Octavia, right? So these two, another married couple comes to Dre, Nina, Kev, Keisha's house, comes to their home to interview with Keisha. And I was like, I don't like it already. And the couple, they were a little bit too, like excited. They were just a little bit too much. And I don't want to use the term overly religious, because there's no limit to how much God you need in your life. Of course not. But they were giving Bible super I don't know, holier than thou type of situations. It wasn't too realistic to me. And they already have adoptive children. So Keisha was like, do you remind your children that they're adopted every other day or what's going on? And they're like, no, we don't do that, but we are honest about, where they came from and stuff like that. So Keisha's like, well, it seems like y'all got y'all's hands full. How many more children y'all plan on adopting? And they're like, well, we hope your baby will be the last angel of ours. I was like, what does that mean? So she's looking at their photo albums and stuff. And again, they were a little bit too, they were a little bit too much for me. I wasn't here for it. You can tell Keisha was kind of like, okay, but she was kind of feeling like this might be the best I can get at this point with me being this close to my due date. So as they're getting ready to leave, the husband makes this remark talking about, well, it's obvious that you're a Christian. You did the godly thing and you decided not to get an abortion. And Keisha's like, baby boy, the decision that I made to not get an abortion had nothing to do with God. Okay. And so they're like, well, everything has something to do with God. And she's like, says who? And they're like, God. I'm like, show them the door. Again, I'm not trying to use the term overly religious. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being really secure in your relationship with God, because listen, we can go there, but so any chance of them getting that baby was out the window. So then we see Keisha. She goes to Octavia's building or whatever, her place of work, and she's in the waiting area and she's talking to the secretary like, listen girl, give me the tea. Is she cool? Do you like her? How long you been here? She's going in, and the secretary's like, girl, who are you? So the secretary, she's like, listen, I've been here 7 years. I don't really know the ins and outs of her life. She's really private, but I do know every morning she greets me with a smile. She remembers everyone's birthday. When my mother passed away and my father couldn't cover the full funeral expenses, Octavia wrote that check, honey. So you can see Keisha, she's realizing all the arrows of a perfect adoptive mother for her child is pointing to Octavia. Despite the fact that she's going through a divorce and she was so adamant about her baby being raised in a 2-parent household, she's really seeing, wow, Octavia is amazing. So the secretary takes Keisha to Octavia's office, and Keisha's looking at all her work and stuff because she's an interior designer. Now, I thought my good sis, and she could do this too, but I thought she was just like decorating the inside. I didn't know my good sis was on the architectural side. My good sis is working with the building. She's building them from the ground up. I said, you rich black woman. I know that's correct. So Octavia comes in like, girl, why are you in my office? What do you need, honey? So they're talking, and she's just Keisha's just in awe of her work and, things like that. So she's asking Octavia, what kind of building would I be to you? And Octavia's like, okay, you came all the way here to ask me what kind of building you would be. Didn't you just keep me out your house? I'm just playing. But she's giving her all these words of encouragement. You would be a strong, beautiful building that can stand strong against any storm that comes your way. You're beautiful. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, thank you. Because y'all know Auntie Tab, that's something she would say, okay? Character or not, that's something she would say, honey, while making a tomato sandwich. You are a strong building. You know that? Thank you. So as they're leaving out of her office after having a little chit-chat, we're seeing them connect a little bit more. And Octavia asks if she's hungry. And Keisha's like, yeah, girl, I'm pregnant, but my stomach hurt right now. What's going on? She's having these, contractions or these complications. So they're at the doctor's office. Octavia took her to the hospital. Nina's there as well. And the doctor comes in and he's like, it was just Braxton Hicks, or, what, did I say it right? I hope I said it right. So Octavia's like, ooh, I figured, I thought so. And Keisha's like, yeah, girl, I get to go home, right? The doctor's like, well, pump your brakes, baby girl. And everybody's like, well, what are you talking about? So the doctor's like, well, the mother has, a high blood pressure, and, we really got to get that, together. And so Octavia's like, the mother has a name. And the doctor's like, sorry, I just have so many patients, it's kind of hard to keep track. And I'm just like, aren't you holding her chart? I'm pretty sure the first thing on there is like her name. And I'm glad they set this scene up, because this is exactly how it be, okay? Because we hear stories all the time about how black women are being mistreated, miseducated, medicated with these doctors because no one's taking the time to listen to them. They're trying to get these quick fixes, whatever's going to get them out the hospital the quickest, and we have all these complications. dying, during pregnancy, or, childbirth, the child being hurt or whatever, because no one's taking the time to really inform them and explore different options. So Octavia's like, the doctor is like, I think we should just go ahead and induce labor, and so that way we can prevent any brain damage and stuff like that. So Keisha's stressed, Nina's looking like, huh? And Octavia's the only one speaking up. Thank God for Octavia, because Octavia was like, baby, hold up, okay? There could be various factors as to why her blood pressure could be like this, and why do you want to do this so quickly? Like, let's not make any rash decisions. So he's like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. I was like, you're not talking to her. You're not talking to Octavia Matthews. You're not talking to her. So she's looking at him like, I will fight you. I will fight you. So he leaves out, and she leaves out as well. And Keisha's just worried. So while Nina was blowing up Dre's phone, she sees Octavia is in Keisha's room, talking to her and stuff like that. And she was looking like she was feeling some type of way. Nina, she was. So she made her way back to the room, and Octavia is telling her, listen, everything's going to be okay, but I do feel like you should get a second opinion. So Keisha's like, well, what if I don't have time to do that? Octavia says, I understand, but I just get worried when doctors don't explore all the options. He's just throwing out the first option out there that's going to get you out of here the quickest. Here comes Miss Nina, okay, who's mistressed, the one who don't even know what's going on in her own house. She wants to come crazy at Octavia. Oh, so you think you know more than a doctor? So Octavia turned around real slow, like, girl, who are you to be talking to me like this? First of all, I didn't say all that. Second of all, I just don't like when doctors act like they have all the answers, because I've lost enough children to know that that's not true. So Nina had to step back, and she was like, I'm so very sorry. I'm not trying to trigger you. And she's like, I just want what's best for Keisha and the baby. That's what Octavia said. And it's the way she gave her a subtle. I was like, Octavia said she ain't the one. Octavia says she ain't the one. So Keisha's like, listen, if it's going to prevent any complications, let's just go ahead and do it. So Octavia's like, well, before we do all that, what did you eat today? And we know this whole journey, or, from what we've seen, Keisha's been eating really unhealthy and stuff like that, right? She's at Smokey's 2 times a day. So she asked Keisha what she ate today. And I forget what she says, corned beef and a salad with some rye or something. I forgot. But it wasn't healthy. And it was the vegan in Octavia tab. It was the vegan. She was like, anyway, like, she had to snap back into, I was like, Tab, wait, I knew that. Listen, I knew it wasn't vegan. Relax, sis. So she's like, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to get you some water. You're going to drink it. And in a few minutes, we're going to bring the doctor back in and have you checked out and see if he still wants to induce this labor, okay? All right. So she makes her way out the door. Nina acting like she don't want to move, honey. And Octavia politely brushed past her. And she was like, and what about it? So we see, Keisha's feeling better. her levels are back to normal. So the doctor's like, well, thank God it wasn't anything permanent or whatever. And Octavia's like, please get out. So Octavia and Nina are sitting there, like, oh, yay. And Keisha's looking at Octavia, and she's like, you're the one. So Octavia's like, baby, what you talking about? And she's like, everybody's been telling me to trust my gut, and my gut is telling me that you're the perfect person to get this baby. And, we see Octavia get emotional, because we know she's been trying to have a child for a long time and things like that. She was willing to lie about her marriage for it, okay? So she, they start to hug. They call each other a blessing. It's very sweet, right? It's very sweet. We look at Nina, and she's giving a sour stank face, like, and I'm just like, what did you expect? She's the reason why your child and the baby are still okay, because if it wasn't for Octavia advocating for this woman, who knows what would have happened if you would have just listened to the doctor, because that's all you said. First of all, when he said he wanted to induce labor, you said nothing. And then when Octavia gave her suggestions and walked out, you talking about, well, let's just listen to the doctor and see what he has to say. Girl, get out my face. Don't be looking at her crazy. She saved your child's life. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, are we going to be seeing some animosity from Nina towards Octavia? Because Octavia ain't did nothing. And Octavia gathered you at the door to let you know she ain't the one to play with, so mind your business. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out, because she was looking like, I don't know if she wanted Keisha to choose someone else, if she wants Keisha to keep the baby for herself, if she's feeling some type of way about Octavia. And someone actually pointed out a good point, because, Keisha she's very fond of Octavia now, okay? They had that bonding moment at her job, and then Nina saw them bonding, you know, and her giving Keisha advice in that hospital room. And so maybe Nina feels like, dang, you know, everybody's, you know, pulling away from me, okay? Dre's cheating on me. Kevin's acting out, and the one person who I thought I could hold on to, she's finding comfort in another woman. And then someone else said, well, maybe she feels a way that she is a mother to 2 children and she couldn't even, you know, have the right solutions as to what's going on. Meanwhile, you have Octavia, who doesn't have any children, who knew what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and stuff like that. So it's like, either way, Nina, don't get no attitudes no more with my good sis, because she ain't the one. But that was it for this episode, y'all. Again, very emotional, and we can expect the second half of the Shy to be like that. These first 4 or so episodes were the build up, okay? Seeing how everybody's maneuvering and how it's gonna, you know, have some consequences later on, okay? But next episode, baby, doo-dah, run, baby, run. Don't you go up to that roof. Don't you go. Who has a conversation on the roof? Never mind. We're going to talk about it next week, okay? But I hope y'all enjoyed this lazy, comfortable review, okay? We'll be back perky next week, okay? Period. But I love y'all. Thank you for all the love and support. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notified. Lord, I was on a roll. I got to go to sleep, y'all. But hit the bell so you know when I post a video. That's better. But I love y'all. Bye.